Yo, welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over Dragapult EX with Dusknoir, a deck that's been popping off in the Prismatic evolutions. We've recently seen the results of the Champions League that happened in Osaka, Japan, and Dragapult EX largely ruled this event. It didn't necessarily win because Archaludon EX was able to take it all over, and that might be a pretty good meta call going forward. But out of all the decks that ended up in the top 16, there were about 4 Dragapult EX decks, and most of them took on this new kind of form where they went lower item cards, and most of them played Budew. I've usually called it Budew, but everyone's telling me I'm wrong in the comments, so we're gonna go with Budew. Hopefully that's right, and let me know in the comments if I'm pronouncing it right. And while you're there, let me know what you think about Dragapult EX. Smash that like button, and of course subscribe to the channel so we can get to 25k if we haven't got there already. Now, Dragapult EX has largely been a super successful deck in general. I mean, whether it was played as Dragapult EX by itself, or with Charizard EX, or as a tech in a Regidrago V-Star deck, Phantom Dive's an incredibly powerful attack. And the way that we're able to make Dragapult work nowadays is we're able to use the new Budew card to slow our opponent down. Now, this is a Japanese card. It's not released, but it's coming out in Prismatic Evolutions, and that's coming out later this month. It's going to be legal for some tournaments such as the Pokemon European International Championships and more. Also, if you're looking to pick up any of the cards for this deck, check out our sponsors at Kayfabe Cards. Check out our code card sponsor at ptcgostore.com. You can use code TSS5 there to get some code cards. Kayfabe ships all over, and they have a large selection of cards, and will most likely have these Budews for you or any of the other cards that you need. The deck list is going to be in the description and or the pinned comment, so check those out. Budew is going to be able to do 10 damage for 0 energies and stop your opponent from playing any item cards. It also has free retreats, so you can kind of sit in front of this, poke at your opponent, be like, no rare candy, no Nest Ball, no energy switch, whatever you think is very possible, and that's going to allow you to evolve your Dreepy into Drakloaks so that you're able to start going for recon directive and kind of churning through your deck, drawing through some cards. Eventually, you'll be able to get into other cards such as Arven and get set up. And really, like, you have a little bit of time. Like, Budew has definitely slowed down the format enough to the point where even this deck is running Lance. It's cutting Nest Balls and stuff like that to add in Lance, so you can search your deck for some Dreepies, you could search your deck for some Drakloaks, some Dragapult EX, whatever you need to get set up. So we have the whole Dragapult thing. We are trying to hit 200 spread damage counters around, and of course hit those numbers where it might matter. Maybe ganging up on the same Pokemon over and over again, maybe hitting 1 damage counter on like a Manaphy, and then hitting for another 6 the next turn. Another way that we have to manipulate damage counters is going to be Dusclops. So we have Dusclops being able to go, you go behind a prize card, you could pop Dusclops, and of course hit your opponent for 5 damage counters wherever. That can allow you to have a multi-prize card turn. We also have access to Dusknoir, same kind of style, doing 13 damage counters. So we might want to take a gigantic multi-prize card turn later on in the game. So that's preventing us from getting Iono'd. That's preventing us from offering up all these things. You probably only need 1 or 2 Dragapults to try to start doing some damage. Set them up and then put yourself in a position, instead of just going 2-2-2, you might be able to go 2-4 or 3-3. However you're able to end the game. Now, this is going to require a lot of setup, and that's why I like playing Lumineon in this deck. Lumineon giving us access to searching out our supporters like Arven or Iono or Lance or Crispin to get powered up. But we also have access to Forest Sealstone to try to get some of these combo pieces. As much as we only play 2 rare candies, we don't necessarily always want to go Dreepy, Drakloak, Dragapult, or Duskull, Dusclops, Dusknoir. We still want to be able to rare candy into our Pokemon. So kind of going through, we're still slowing down our opponent with the Budew and all that stuff. But we still have access to some other cool tech cards that I've included in this deck. Radiant Alakazam allows us to move damage counters from our opponent's Pokemon to some of their other Pokemon that they have in play. And that could also further set us up with some cool knockouts with the Dusclops, Dusknoir, and Phantom Dive on Dragapult EX. Something that I haven't seen in a lot of the Japanese lists is Manaphy. Now, Manaphy is typically a card we want to play to kind of counter Radiant Greninja. But in this case, we're using it to kind of counter Gardevoir in a way, because we're trying to stop their Screamtail from spreading, from knocking out like a Lumineon or a Fezandipiti EX on our bench. So the Manaphy has been coming in pretty clutch in that matchup. We'll have to see if it still stays into the deck, but I thought it was kind of hot. Speaking about just matchup techs in general, I think Temple of Sinnoh is also an incredibly great call, because our format went from being a very wide format with like 20, 30 decks to you have to worry about Mirror, you have to worry about Gardevoir, you have to worry about Lugia. So if we're dealing with Manaphy for Gardevoir, we have Temple of Sinnoh for Lugia, and sometimes that can just get you whatever you need. So beyond just using Crispin to power up your Pokemon and manually attaching, we also have a copy of Sparkling Crystal, another card that's searchable by Arven, the same way that Forest Seal Stone is searchable by Arven. We have a lot of ways that we can just kind of get set up, have extra energy attachments, and really like there's nothing that's like incredibly special. Like Budew is definitely going to slow our opponent down. We're able to get set up a little bit more, and maybe if they don't really get set up, we could take multi-prize cards with Dragapult and board wipe our opponent early. But we're just a really like kind of how do I put it, like a half control deck in terms of spread and damage modifications. So we're able to use Phantom Dive, we're able to maybe knock out Pokemon our opponent doesn't want to knock out since we slowed them down enough. And of course, just like activating things like using Dusknoir before playing an Iono and getting set up for things like that. So I think Dragapult DX is one of those more interesting decks. It's exciting to see that it's seeing kind of its most success it's ever seen in any format outside of any Red Drago V-Star deck. This is a fantastic build that I've been working on, preparing people for tournaments in the Prismatic Evolutions format. So if they got a chance to try it out, this list, it is copy and pasteable. Some of the cards like Budew might not necessarily be copy and pasteable yet because they are Japanese translations. So if you're trying to build this deck on live, you can always kind of hold off on those and just kind of put proxies in it for now. If you want to try the Dragapult deck, you could always add like another couple rare candies or something if you want to start practicing it on the PTCG Live ladder. As for me, I'm just going to continuously start testing. I'm getting really excited for my travels to the European International Championships where this is legal. Just got my order in from Advanced GG. I might have seen this on another video. I record multiple videos a day, but I'm enjoying the Blackout Focus flavor that they have in my new shaker. So if you get a chance to check out them in the description. And if you want to kind of support me more personally, you could always check out my Manaphy group page where I have access to a lot of these deck lists early. I do cover the top 10 best decks every format, but I'm starting to cover some Prismatic Evolutions, looking into the new Battle Partner sets that's coming out after this sets, and of course keeping up with Surging Sparks and everything in between. So lots of great deck lists there that get updated on the regular, even if they're not making them into these videos. If you're trying to get some one-on-one coaching with me, that's awesome too. I can help you set up your 2025 correct to maybe lock that invite, get that League Cup win, or overall just feel a little bit more confident going into your next tournaments. Should be rounding out the week with our top 10 best decks of Surging Sparks, so stay tuned for that. And I'm probably going to cover some more early Prismatic Evolutions deck profiles next week, looking towards like Charizard, Gardevoir, and a few of the other decks that saw success at the Champions League Osaka. That being said, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I'll stay tuned for more great content, and I'll catch up with all y'all soon. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.